Yes. What's up? Welcome everybody to the Remix Morning Show.
What's going on?
This is what happens when the ear doctor's not around. Just to let everybody know.
Hey, that woke me up. That woke me up. I was over here going crazy. I said, "Yes, sir. Let's get it started." Sorry.
Yeah, it still works. The track still works. And I saw we might need a couple minutes as folks gathered in this morning, a couple extra minutes, and I was like, let me see if this still works. And the track, it still makes me want to.
It does. Yeah.
All of that.
Makes you want to run up on them crackers in they city hall. Run up on them crackers in they city hall. Woo.
But I think Stick is selling diet pills these days.
And doing tracks with Killer Mike, but and I mean, look.
But I remember,
I might have made that up.
Such a wet blanket.
I mean, when that came out, man, 1999. I mean, it was it was
like optimistic, but for rap. You know what I'm saying? It was Sounds of Blackness, but making dead prayers. I said, oh yes, we about to turn a corner, and nope, we didn't.
Yeah. And they were in New York. Well, yeah, but they were in New York. They were organizers. They were with Uhuru. They were still in Outlander. MXG at the time was like, all these young cats are going to Uhuru because of dead press. They had a whole formation. So they was kicking it off. But they did Black August. We took them to Cuba a couple of times. There's some stories about people wanting to smoke, but I will leave that alone for now because you know how I do. But you know.
So real quick, Kamal.
Dry snitching? Is that how you do? What you talking about? You dry snitch all the time. You might as well stay on brand.
But I want him to be heard clearly, and so I want to make sure the mic is plugged in and connected because I want to be able to.
I was trying to do the headphones. Is it not working? Should I go back to the mic?
I don't think it's working. I mean, you should be able to have headphones and a mic working at the same time.
2023, yes.
And I'll do the best I can. We also forgive me, everybody. Kamal Franklin, Burn It Down, Kim Brown, Jared Ball. We got Coco.
Whoops.
Did I do that? Or maybe she wasn't ready. Okay, go.
Peace. Good morning. How's everyone?
Morning.
It is good. Good to see you. Greetings, everybody. Greetings to all the remixers coming in. Let everybody know it's on.
Uncle Kamal, there's no subtlety. There's no subtlety to it.
Is it working? Is it better? Is this better?
Mute button.
It's not better?
Yes.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yes. A little loud, a little forte. You're coming in a little forte there, a little strong. But but it's fine. You look nice though. I mean,
I do.
Wow, yes, you look very, very beautiful this morning.
Oh my God! I just woke up like 5 minutes ago.
Look at Kamal though. Look at Kamal shining.
I can't. Yeah, once Kamal shows up, it's a wrap for me. I get it.
Well, I was going to say real quick, I need to go to Target and get some new shirts because I'm running out of shirts. So I got to go.
You can't go to Target. You can't go to Target because Target supports. Don't you know about the whole boycott?
Oh yes,
the whole right-wing boycott. Don't forget. No, we got to stand with our right-wing brothers and sisters and their strike against all of the tucking clothing.
The gay mafia. The alphabet mafia. Yeah, we got some of them in our chat. Yeah, we got come of y'all straight black fighters right here. Y'all linking up with the Proud Boys to go to the library to protest the next drag queen in person.
But what was funny is that I was reading this morning about the buying power of the right and how it's being used as a force against Target. But oddly, nobody's telling the right wing that they have this buying power that they can use to upend their centuries of inequality after enslavement and colonization. But anyway,
Target and Anheuser-Busch, because they're still protesting Bud Light.
But they said because at Target apparently they're selling clothing, and the right wing is claiming it's for children, but it's not. But that helps men tuck their genitals if they want to perform as as a woman or
I'm so confused. What is a tuck? What is this? What's a tuck?
You can tuck in your. Come on, we all remember Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. There's a clothing line for you to do that.
Apparently, there's clothing items that help a man's genital. And the right wing was saying that Target was selling this for children, and they're trying to make they're trying to turn all the kids gay. And so you can't go to Target, my man. You're gonna have to shop somewhere else.
I can buy old man clothes and support my LGBTQ FYG brothers and sisters.
That's right.
And others.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
I'm there. Ooh, I need some more polos of different colors, but all the same brand. I need to get that. I need to get up on that right away. It's a struggle. It's either going to be CMB shirts or this from now on. But I appreciate you saying I look good. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know if you went to the barbershop this weekend. What happened? You got the beard shaped up, something different. I don't know what it is, but you look nicer. Not to say that you look bad, but you there's a noticeable improvement, and I don't know what happened.
Maybe the camera's working better. I don't understand. I've done nothing. I barely woke up. I'm trying to be quiet because the reason I got the headphones in, because school is gone. In any second, there's gonna be somebody in my lap.
I woke my kids up. My kids were mad Monday. They were trying to sleep late, and I was over here doing the show Monday morning, loud as hell. Like, wake your ass up! It's time for. So yeah, I don't. But go ahead, come out. Try to. That's nice of you to try to.
I'm gonna try, not for the audience, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm supporting Target
for the children. Yeah.
And LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Well, circling back to that, you guys, I thought I saw a story that Target's market share, stock price, I don't know, like has fallen a not insignificant amount. Like it's down like something like 25%.
Really?
Because of the boycott.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it. It is 60% of the country and 80% of the whites. So when we talk about the right wing, that's really who we're talking about. They still dominate population wise. I know it's getting lower, but it's like, that's who votes for Trump. What are you doing with this head thing?
Because I did not. I didn't have 3 hours to twist my hair. Like it's getting to that point where I have to block out a shift to twist my hair, and I said no. And so I have my bonnet on, and I know y'all halfway respectability Negroes, so y'all wouldn't let me come on here with just my bonnet.
And I don't want Monique to come after you. She'd be making her videos again. Monique been getting after black women for wearing them. And then when she found out that they weren't bonnets and that it was fly shower caps, she came back and did a semi-apology this week and was basically saying, but could my little babies not do that?
What, wear bonnets to the airport?
Yeah, because it makes making black women look bad.
To who? To white people? To whites? To the white? Again. We off respectability, Monique. We off that shit. We don't give a fuck what the what the whites got to say about anything. Okay, if they don't like the bonnets, don't look. It's really that simple. You don't need to critique. You don't need to comment. You don't need to observe. You don't need to do nothing. You just need to mind your motherfucking business. That's it. Just mind your business.
I can't even comment.
Why? That's not minding your business. That's the opposite of minding your business when you comment.
That's true. My bad.
Once you start in Precious, I think you can speak on behalf of all of blackness whenever you want. So I'm going to stand in defense of Monique and her.
And we had to wait 12 years. We waited 12 years for that bad special she did. I was like, 12 years? And that was the special me? I was like, what's wrong?
Oh,
I'm just saying it wasn't
Target buying power. Oh man.
So yeah, so I have my bonnet on. Like I said, I know we got a respectability current running over here. Maybe that went away with the ear doctor's absence. I don't know, because really it was the ear doctor telling me I couldn't wear my robe and shit. And I said, God damn, ear doctor, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I can't wear my uniform.
Kamal, you co-signing that?
It was 2 votes. It was 2 votes.
So I said, fine, I'll keep my bonnet. I'll throw on a hoodie. Ear doctor had told me that an acceptable piece of the uniform could be a hoodie. So here we are hoodied up because I did not.
There you go. I like it.
Blocking out the time. I say I put on earrings, for the mandem. So y'all still think I'm cute or whatever. So whatever, man. It's whatever. Shut up, Kamal. Just shut up.
Hoodies and earrings works. I think that's that.
I think, you looked dope.
For my uniform requirements.
You just kept tagging at it. So I was like, what's going on?
Because
I need more flaring.
My head.
Coco, I'd still think the dark kind of like vampire background. It's just
Give
not
it up.
appropriate
Give it
for a
up.
morning show.
Give
I
it
just
up.
want to throw it out one more
Give
time.
it up.
Just want to
It's
throw it out one more
okay.
time.
You know
Just
what,
one more
Kamal? I take donations for a green screen.
Ooh,
I do.
You don't need a green
I
screen?
do.
challenge.
I ain't got no green screen.
I take donations for a green screen.
Coco
That's the
also
end of the
takes
conversation.
donations for bigger houses
things.
with libraries behind her. I think if I could speak for Coco for a quick second,
I could definitely take some books. My library is nice, but it's, you know, it could be filled with some good books that you got in.
How many books are back there, Kamal? You guys ever counted? You ever set the children? You ever tasked them to count the books on the shelves?
No, I don't think I've ever counted how many. And there's, the part of my computer is standing on about 12 books. There's another bookshelf upstairs in the bedroom. No, it's a book family. Even though, like I said, I don't get to read as much as I used to. I still will buy a book at this stage. Most of these books on the shelf I have read over probably well over 90%. But the new books, it's almost like I just gather them. I'm going to be one of them old men that the cluster, and it's going to be books falling over books and shit like that. You know what I mean? When I get to be put in my old folks' home by myself and I'm chilling, it's going to be me surrounded by my books, a computer, maybe some potato chips. You know what I'm saying? My Target shirt on. Ooh, life will be good.
Mr. Franklin, we're having a hard time maneuvering your chair around all these boxes of books stacked to the floor. And it's becoming a fire hazard, Mr. Franklin. We're going to call your children and tell them they need to come pick up some of these goddamn books.
That's when we'll finally be able to get him to wear a BPM shirt. We'll stuff him in his wheelchair. When he can't
what's
resist.
up with that? You said CMB, and you said you said these polos and these thermals that you got, but you're not gonna put a BPM shirt on?
No, they're more expensive. My CMB shirts are free. I mean, you know what I mean? They pay for by the organization, and I grab a free one. So I got like 7 black CMB shirts.
I would
BPM
say
makes
that
me pay for them.
We need BPM shirts that are at cost for us.
When I pick them, I always pick the wrong color, and they always look like, it's kind of like I pick a beige on beige, and it's not.
Wait, you wear colors? Come out, you wear colors?
You're supposed to buy everybody a shirt. BPM is supposed to buy all the hosts a shirt. According
allegedly, I've been here 2 years. The shirt has not arrived. The shirt has not arrived here for me yet. I'm still waiting.
Y'all can send me the graphic. I'll print it out.
Oh, we should do it. We should make some renegade like BPM shirts. We should rip off our whole company.
You saw the one Ear Doctor was selling the other day for $65.99, right? The ripped T-shirt where he wrote BPM on it, because to get over like Sean King used to with his T-shirts. I think that's the fly. We need to clip that and make a commercial.
Did it sell?
It would. Oh. I mean, or people could just make them themselves if they just cut the sleeves off of a T-shirt and write BPM on a marker on the front. That's what he was rocking. He was demonstrating.
That's what I'm gonna start doing if I don't get no BPM shirts. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
But real quick, right over here, Columbia Mall. If I could win like 7 more of these Freedom Scholar Awards at Columbia Mall, there is a $10,000 bookshelf on sale.
Where?
At what is that? It's across. It's in that walkway. No. It's in that walkway across from. I actually don't know the name of the store, but it's in that new, like, they cut out that like fancy little walkway entrance, and you got Maggiano's on one end, and what is it, California? Is it Pizza Kitchen? Something like that. And then right down next, you got the fancy, dress store that everybody used to talk about, and then right across the street is this. The aisle is this furniture spot, and I went in there one day, and it's gorgeous, and it attracted me. I walked over and looked at it, and it said 9999, and I was like, "What?
G? Does it put itself together?
No, 10 G's, $9,999.99.
Does it hand you the book when you call for it or something like that? I mean, what is the?
I mean, it's just this beautiful dark wood looking thing. I mean, it's really beautiful, but it's somehow it's not. I mean, again, you would have to be incredibly rich, I would think, to the point where 10,000 was like spending $10 or whatever.
$10, yeah.
But
my guess is the materials is probably made out of something that, you know, you're probably not supposed to make shelves out of anymore. That's probably why that probably contributed to the price. Do you remember what it was made of? What kind of wood?
I really don't. Once I saw the price tag, I just sort of blacked out and walked backwards out of the store. Like,
what is this? It
was that's when the person that worked there kind of started hovering, like, you know, you can't. Why are you even? And like, don't even be over here. You're too poor to be over here. You don't even look.
So you got poverty written all over you.
You have insufficient funds stamped all over your forehead. It was like bounce check all over your. It was just like, yeah, you know, yeah.
I realize now that I spent much more time working in Columbia Mall than I actually spent shopping in Columbia Mall. Like I guess I'm not qualified to shop there, but I could work there. They would let me come in there and earn my little $7.25 serving the richer whites and the more bushy blacks. Yes.
And now they have a rule, you know, before is after 4 p.m. you have to have an adult. Like there's what is it? Nobody under 18 can go in there. Something like that. They got a new rule. Because apparently the kids was running through there, and you know what kids they was talking about. You know what kids they were talking about.
I know what kids they were talking about, but it's probably not the kids that they really meant. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I used to work at Columbia Mall, so I know who was coming there and do a big thieving. And to be honest, a lot of times it would be middle-aged to elderly Asian women come in there and steal the joint, rob the joint out. Like
but they don't scare white people.
No, they don't scare white people.
When there's two or more old Asian women standing together, they don't terrify white people. Right. But 3 black kids walk in and
I'm telling you. But them elder Asian ladies, you need to check their bags, though. You absolutely need to check their bags.
Now that said, the fools at my daughter's high school sure enough did, in groups of 10 to 20, roll up a couple weeks ago and run through the Giant, all up on camera, stealing and grabbing what they could. It was like it's apparently like a fad to gang up and run through the grocery store, grab what you can and run out. All on camera. All of them, everybody got caught. You. And you could even see the video. The workers are on there looking at them like, just like, go ahead. I mean,
dumbass.
You know, there's the door, and you know, like nobody's like do what you gonna do because the camera's right there. I'm
That's not, you know,
bad. It's like, and all of them. Principal was on the thing, so and so and such and such and so and so. I mean, it was like that. Whoa. They didn't even do Kim and put a hood on it. So it was like
to be young.
You don't even crime right. You don't
even to be young and stupid.
Jeez. Oh, I remember anyway. But because the kids have an SRO there now. Like there's a Howard County police officer stationed at all the schools now, right? Okay. See.
Oh no, yeah. There's police officers and you know and now that school in particular is a little blacker and browner, and Columbia in general is a little blacker and browner. There's a you know all this you know you can feel the. I don't know. I feel like you can feel the tension in the rules and the regulate. People trying to figure out how we gonna manage this as we try to build and expand the city, and you know. But
I am just mad there's not one tactical fool in the group that goes, at the very least, you throw everybody. If you ain't got a hoodie, don't do this or something.
I mean,
something.
These kids are not real criminals. You know, they weren't stealing out of need. They were stealing for some shit to do. They didn't need to steal out the Giant. They felt like stealing out the Giant. So
practice makes perfect. Maybe next time. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know a lot of people used to do that. Run up into the Giant and run out with a carton full of food. I don't know, but see, the SROs being stationed at the schools all the time. How can you tell when people are really in trouble? Like when I was in school, that's how you knew somebody was really in trouble. When the police showed up, it's like, oh, y'all, the cops is here. What are they doing here? But now the cops are there all the fucking time. So I guess everybody in trouble all the time. I don't know what to make of that.
If it's just one car, more or less discreetly on the side, and 1 and 2 in our school, there's 2, you know, walking around with their pistols, and but they're friendly. They're friendly, Kim. They smile and they greet the children
armed with the pistol on their hip. Like,
of course.
Oh my God.
Of course. What's the problem with that? John Morant's on Instagram with his guns. Everybody got guns.
Everybody got guns.
Nobody
Everybody
cares
got
about
guns.
it. They're just kids. They're not bothered by. They're not impacted by any of this. You know what I mean? Put some tussin on it and
keep it moving. I got my first check from Harvard yesterday. I did a little speaking thing.
What?
I'm saying.
We getting checks from Harvard now? Is that revolutionary? Yeah. What's going on?
Well, I'm just going, I got
reappropriations.
I got chastised for putting too much information on the last time. I appreciate y'all. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
What's that amount say?
I don't know. What does it? Is that?
Yeah, that's perfect. That'll definitely get me a.
Wait a minute, $100.
Come on,
with its billions in endowment. What the hell is that?
Why are you even showing us that?
So, because I just want to say how bad I am at the speaking game. Some 20-year-old.
Was that really for a speaking gig?
$100.
Yeah.
Gas money come out.
It's not gas money. So some kid who's like 23 or 4. She ain't gonna like me calling her a kid, but she's a kid. She was like, "Oh, Kamal, how much do you make?" Am I not charging enough? She's like, "I only make $3,000 when I speak." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, I'm the wrong person to ask because I actually just speak for free most of the time."
3,000. That would be like my second highest ever. I think. I remember when Peniel Joseph came to Morgan. I'm gonna stay talk about him, but when he came to Morgan, I remember him telling me he got off the stage after some whatever presentation, and he said I got $6,000, and I was like $6,000. He said, "Yeah, this is my HBCU discount."
Shit.
I was like, no, but it is though. But honestly, when you start to see, and I know you all know, but when you start to see the fees. I mean, it's 30, 40, 50, 60 for some of these cats on a regular basis. And so, yeah, $6,000 is and then down at the way at the other end is me and Kamal.
And I think they know it too. I think they know it. They be like, we can always get Kamal for free.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I tell people all the time. My daughters, they were like, "Oh, you going somewhere? Oh, my daddy's going to speak." I was like, calm it down. This is I'm like way down. This is after they've turned the page several times before they. And one time we were at Syracuse. This is how deep it was. We were at Syracuse, and we go to the dinner, and the sister hands in this case, I wasn't the only one to suffer this, but me and the other sister who were there, we get this paper in front of it, and you could clearly see how our names have been like they scratched out the original and put our names on top. Like the people we thought or hoped we were gonna get, and then it was like, no, put your head on there real quick.
Last minute substitution.
Hey, I recently got an engagement for. So apparently. I don't know if I can. I want to name the activist. I might. So I'll tell the story without naming her first, but then I'm sure y'all coax it out of me. So apparently she had a speaking gig, and she got first class tickets to come, and that included 2 extra ones for family members. The speaking engagement was in a hotel, and she didn't want to stay. And this was a fancy hotel in Buckhead, and she didn't want to stay at that fancy hotel in Buckhead. And so she made them put her in a fancier hotel in Buckhead. And I mean, and the hotel was plush. Then at the last minute, she said she couldn't make it because they changed the date. And that's when they were like, "Oh, fuck no. You know who we gonna call?" They called me.
Come out.
And I don't even know what she got. I mean, they gave me a little something, but I'm sure it's a 10th of what they were about to give her. So I'm just saying.
And that's how my name shows up. He got it exactly right. My name, even
Gerard. Oh, that's right, Gerard.
Even if you look at FD Signifier's video that he did with me in it, the last one, even when my name is on the screen, Jared Ball, he still put Bell on top of it. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, yeah, it's a regular thing, man. It's a regular thing. There's something anyway, it's something fun. Yeah, that's wild.
How can we improve at playing the game, as it were? You know what I'm saying? That's one of my big shortcomings. I'm not a good player of the game, as you know what I mean. So it don't sound like y'all are good players of the game. To be honest, it don't sound like y'all
how many times. Oh, come on! I know you have this where you see the moment. you see the person that invited you and you're talking, and you see the moment that you've said what will not get you ever invited back.
Right.
You can see their face as the words come out your mouth. They're like, oh, fuck, scratch.
This was a mistake.
And they come up to you real quick afterwards, like, thank you very much. And they're
Leave the
out,
stage.
out. It's like no, let's chitty chat. Oh, you want to go have a drink? Go get some dinner? Nah, like, escort his ass, give him a check, get him here.
Let me come back and clean us up. Let me come back and clean this up.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one. Get somebody to come up and, well, he didn't really mean colonialism and capitalism is we can, circulate our whatever they come up, they come back.
Like, no, our speaker expounded on many different issues. We know we got to do work in the community, and with the great corporate sponsors that we have, it allows us to do such and such and such and such. So it's like all that socialism shit. Just stop thinking about that.
Forgive me, everybody. I have us off the rails here. It's 8:30. It is the Remix Morning Show. We have not slapped a map. And I have a couple stories. I know Erica laced us again, and I'm actually finding myself in 2 times in agreement with Dr. Umar Johnson.
It's okay. My goodness, it is you. Oh my goodness, it is you all. It's the Remixers. Thank you all for joining us this morning on the Remix Morning Show. This is an off the rails version of the Remix Morning Show. When the ear doctor is not here, things just go awry. But we're going to try to right this ship, and we appreciate y'all being with us on this good day. It is May the 31st, Wednesday. Last day of May, everybody. Y'all ready for June tomorrow? Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
My birthday month. Yeah, I knew it. That was 30 good minutes.
No, so what I thought you were going to say, Kim, real quick. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say when the ear doctor's not here, things Chinue Achebe, because they fall apart.
Things fall apart. Very nice. I like what you did
I do like.
Shout out to all the literate people that would have got that, and everybody else. Because a couple years ago that went away, and I'm like what, niggas? What? But anyway, we appreciate y'all. Give the video a like and a thumbs up. We're going to do our best to bring y'all some good news today. We got the good sis Coco, Kamal Franklin, Dr. Jared Ball. I'm Kim Brown. Big up to all of our remix comrades. Shout out to the ear doctor. Big up to Kalanji. Big up to Jackie Lukman. Yes, so indeed. We just want to send love to everybody, and we appreciate y'all being with us this morning.
So I did tease that story or somewhat, but did any of you have anything more meaningful or that you
let's start with Umar, son. Let's start with Umar.
Well, there's 2 instances where, because he's been in the news lately commenting on, so I thought I'll play a little bit of this here. Because I do actually find myself in a little bit of agreement here. This is from Comedy
Fans
Hype.
are raving about the new live-action remake of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Author and activist Dr. Umar took to his social media account to shun the film for its lack of Black love representation. In his Instagram account, where he also blasted upcoming film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the school psychologist critiqued, how the hell are you going to have a Black superhero cartoon for our children? And he's lusting and thirsting over the skim milk in the damn trailer.
We can't even have a cartoon with Black on Black love. It's getting out of control. Little Mermaid, Spider-Man, bunny hopping.
He added that Spider-Man's character in the film would end up being replaced after being accused of sexual harassment.
She probably going to accuse him of smacking her too. Watch, he going to get locked up. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Spider-Man across the universe, she's going to accuse him of rape, and he's going to go to jail, and they're going to replace him with a white Spider-Man. Watch.
Although we have seen these scenarios played out in real life consistently, some fans might say it's not that deep. It's just a children's movie. Halle Bailey's role as Ariel in The Little Mermaid is groundbreaking in itself because the original character was white. While Black and minority representation in TV and film is on the rise, some critics don't think it's enough. If the main character is Black, why wouldn't there be a Black love interest as well?
So I'll play just that part of it. I want to share just one other quick post from Dr. Umar that admittedly touches a little close to home. But again, I find myself in agreement. This is in response to his being criticized by Matt Barnes. And Umar Johnson says, Mr. Matt Barnes, you are misrepresenting my words. I never told anyone not to go and watch the film. I never said boycott the film, as that wouldn't be fair to the Black actors involved. Please don't put words in my mouth, good brother. It's my policy to still purchase tickets when young, up-and-coming Black actors are involved. They shouldn't suffer due to the political agendas behind their films over which they exercise no control. However, I'd never take my son or daughter to see a children's movie where a Black character is thirsting after a white person. Perhaps you take issue with my position because you are the product of interracial union, and I can understand your sensitivity. My position should not be meant as an attack on mixed-race Africans, as you are not responsible for how you came into this world. I accept mixed-race Africans as family if they identify with their race, and I reject those who deny their race. If I have 5 children, and then I would purchase 5 tickets to support the lead actors. However, my children aren't setting foot into that theater. Nonetheless, I said what I said, and I meant it. These films are not harmless. They are propaganda, movies that serve a specific social engineering agenda. Psychological warfare happens to be an area of research and expertise for me. I recommend that you read a good book on the subject before you pass judgment, sir. He could have mentioned one. He could have recommended a book. But anyway, lastly, the name is Dr. Umar, bruh. Put some respect on my name.
Oh, that's not bad for Umar. I'm down with that second. The first.
That's what I was. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
One. Oh no, I was just going to say. Obviously, I think the critique is real. I think we've all noticed and or mentioned that or talked through it before in different places and spaces. Yeah, and obviously, but obviously, we're too far off to be for anybody to be thinking that these films will do anything, for our community. They are basically entertainment vehicles that are meant to put us within a certain mind frame around moving away from Blackness. I think Umar is totally correct on that. But we've come a long way. We used to be Black actors fought, right? I remember Diane Carroll one time, and I think even Harry Belafonte's daughter, like they both said, like, I want to be able to have like a white counterpart on the screen, because I think they had that in their real life too. And they were like,
well, Diane Carroll actually, in one of her television roles in her early career, where she played a nurse,
Julia,
and a single mother, right?
Yeah. Julia.
Thank you. But she fought to at least have it acknowledged that the absence of the husband was due to him being killed in war. That was as close as she could get to having a Black, like she didn't want to just be like another absentee Black father, but that was as close as she could get, was to say, anyway, thank you, Kevin C. Keep up the great discussion. Anyway, so I actually agree, and fundamentally with the 2 points he's making in each case, I actually do agree. I think that on the one hand, there could be, a recognition for the realities of that produce me, and that allow for people to have whatever relationships that they want to have, and also to recognize that there is, I've recognized it, that there seems to be an attempt to portray more interracial couples than exist in reality, and that there seems to be some sort of sense that an all Black couple is somehow retrograde. Yeah, it's like going backwards.
It's so old school.
Yeah, it's like,
Black people commingled.
Like there can't be an advance in humanity if there's a Black couple involved, anyway.
Real quick, I was going to add one thing I do disagree with, and I no longer pay money to go see movies just because Black folks are in them. Those days are done. Those days are done. Yeah.
No, yeah. Anyway,
I still haven't seen 12 Years a Slave. What was it? Is it 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah.
Somebody was just talking about it's like the 10th year anniversary. That's like, that should have been out for 10 years.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Wow. Never saw it either.
Haven't seen it.
I didn't see it either, actually.
They're both like, it's interesting you guys say 12 Years a Slave, because 12 Years a Slave and Precious are 2 movies that I've only seen once. You know what I'm saying? I have no desire to ever see them twice. But I actually thought 12 Years a Slave was very well acted. What's the guy's name? Chidwell.
Oh yeah.
Measure 4. I'm saying his name wrong. And then that's where old girl showed up for the first time that we seen her. Well, I can remember seeing her. What's her name?
Hey, I think Monique can
act
act in Precious. I think to me, it's the quality of the acting isn't the problem. In fact, the problem.
The content of the movie was terrible. I mean, Precious was horrific.
Oh my God.
In 12
I
years
still haven't seen Precious.
Lupita, right? Thank you for Kim. Yeah, that's Lupita was.
Lupita, thank you guys. Yes, Lupita. What has Lupita been in? Late, and you know what? I don't even care.
De Beers Diamond.
That's
the only thing that came to mind.
De Beers. Diamonds are forever.
The new face.
The new face of the bit. Exactly.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah. That's where we are. That's but at the same time, she said she did not want to be in Woman King because it negatively depicted the women she was trying to positively depict in Wakanda. This is the
contradiction.
Which wasn't I thought Woman King wasn't that bad. And I know that was a whole lot of controversy. Oh, you hated Woman King? You did a whole thing around it.
Yeah, just hate it because
I wasn't that as entertainment goes.
Again, it's not the quality of the film that is my problem. It's not the acting or the storytelling that is usually a problem I have. It is, in fact, the better they do it, the more I have a problem because it makes it harder to get around the harmful politics. But yeah, just the history and all the stuff. And then, and again, sort of to Umar's point, like I was critical in that film of having sort of a mixed race superhero. Right. Like he's got to, like, they got to, come on, man. Like, I don't like, stop trying to give and doing it in the sense of trying to give the Portuguese some room. That's, that's the thing.
True.
Like, I don't have a problem. Like if you want to include the legitimate history of people of multiracial backgrounds deciding consciously towards hypo descent and saying I'm staying with my African family and fighting with them, tell that story. But you don't have, but don't try to soften the enslavement and the colonization by throwing in a love interest. And
that's
come on, man.
And then wasn't the dude from Hamilton? It was like the dude from Hamilton or something.
I think so. Yeah. So it's like, anyway.
He's like the mulatto of the moment, at least 10 years ago.
No, do you remember when some years ago where Drake? No, he won Jew of the Year. I remember, and he and Obama somebody said that they were the two most influential mulattoes. That was the phrase they used. Who said that at the time? I did. Anyway,
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, it was anyway.
Y'all really have a problem with Little Mermaid, though?
No. I haven't seen it. I don't have a problem with Little Mermaid. What I do is I'm saying I agree with the critique that Umar is making, that there is an attempt to deny that a fully Black couple is somehow humane and decent for the world. That's
who's cast. I'm sorry, because I don't know anything. I mean, I know the original Little Mermaid. Who is cast as the prince in this movie? It's a white actor. Is that what I'm to understand?
Yeah, some white guy. Yeah. That's the love interest.
And he's straight up white. They didn't even make him like off white, like a spicy white. I mean, but he's like Nordic. Is he blonde?
Like the Mediterranean? Like is he from like the Mediterranean area? Moorish Spain?
They didn't get the hot mulatto that we were just talking about from
that clip. He looks.
Now here's the dude here. This is him here, Jonathan Howard King, right?
Oh, that looks white.
What about the other spicy mulatto from Bridgerton, the one that all the gals like, Reggae John Page, Reggae? Okay, y'all don't know. I don't know who
that is.
I can't even watch.
Aquafina's in it.
I can't watch those either. The ahistorical pieces, whatever they call them.
I haven't watched Bridgerton either. Yeah.
Those look so terrible to me. They have these Black folks dressing up in European garb, acting like they were queens and princesses and interacting without without anything to do with race or whatever. It's just like it's beyond the pale in terms of the fantasy world. It's like I can't buy it. I know, all of it. It's like fantasy. I just can't buy it. I'm just like, what is this? Why is she
No, I never
watching
watched
it?
it either. I mean, when they said it was a, you know, a cute, pretty young thing in there, I said, well, I might be watching an episode to see what they talk. But yeah, and he's attractive. So, but no, I never watched the whole series because again, same thing. It's like, oh, there's the Queen Charlotte, and it's like, was she?
Right.
Is she really? Oh, and are people just getting a very distorted take about this time period and the role that Black people played in it, if at all? So yeah, I'm not interested in watching that either.
Yeah.
But
And I, you know, they're not, well, again, I think these things do have purposes behind them, but there are people dumb enough who will look at that and rearrange, or young enough, I mean, not to say dumb enough, maybe young and dumb enough, but to rearrange, or they haven't been given any other information. So they start thinking like that's, you know, that's history, or that's what I want to aspire to again. It's a newer version of a Disney princess for Black folks in a way.
Wow.
But it's like, that's what I want to aspire to again, to be within the wealth of white society and to be respected within it, to be looked upon as beautiful within white society, to be given the cachet that you get. You know, it's like that's the ideological drive there. So, you know, outside of those things, and just yeah, it's just I'm repulsive. Like, oh my God, she's got on like a long dress, the long British whatever colonial dress turn. I can't watch it.
Guys, I got to step off for a second. My dogs are begging to be let out, and we don't have no ear doctor breaks. This is when I would.
We don't. Right.
We don't have any break.
We sure don't. We sure don't. So Kim, we appreciate you. Do what you got to do. There's no bathroom break. If you got to go, you just gonna have to dip out and just excuse yourself and dip out, because I got nothing prepared. I got nothing. He didn't leave us nothing. I'm gonna blame him. What's he doing taking these days off? Anyway, and plus my daughters have aged out. Like, I don't think they ever saw the first Little Mermaid, and there was no interest to see this one. So there was no like, can you make us go see it? And you know, though I heard Holly Bailey, whose parents clearly knew what they were doing, is apparently she killed it in terms of singing and performing. I don't know. So I don't know. Anyway.
And then there was controversy before, right, about the making of even having her in there.
Well, having her be Black, I mean, everybody's upset. I mean, it's like along with the Target thing, everybody's mad. Like the white folks, they're having a bad month. White people having they're, you know, between Little Mermaid and Target going gay and all of that. Like it's you know, if you know any white folks out there, give them a hug. They might.
They might need it this month.
They might need a hug this morning. They're struggling. Anyway, whose story? Okay, Coco, put a story in there. Okay, I got you. Do you want to set
I got a
this
quick
up,
one.
Coco? Oh, wait.
Oh, you want to do yours? No, Coco, you can do yours.
Well, I'm
Coco.
just pulling these up. I'm working backwards, Coco, from the second one you put in there. If you
the first one is connected with the second one, so it's really just one story. But I just wanted to, you know, bring attention to certain things.
All right, let me get this. I got this right here. And I'm assuming we want to play this tweet. I don't know.
Well, so this tweet is just basically saying, because so in Davenport, Ohio, Iowa, there was an apartment building that collapsed, right? And so, and then they decided to demo the apartment building, but they still have 5 people missing. And there's this one woman is in the window, you know, screaming for help. But apparently they had cleared the building, right? They were like, you know, ended rescue efforts and said, we're just going to demolish. And they still had people inside the building, including this woman. And then I guess after this woman's, you know, came out and she's screaming for help, they found animals and they found all kinds of other things. But I wanted to bring attention to the story because there is so many you know, issues around the fact that they were willing to demolish this building without actually finding these individuals that were within the building. And obviously there's a class issue here. There's a lot of people who are, I think the woman who was in the window was Black. And Iowa politicians do not care, obviously, for, you know, the working poor within their city. So if you want, you could play the video. But this is what was happening on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know about all that, but the woman, you can see she's up there.
see that one cop just standing there? He's not moving. He's looking up like no one is going like, hey, there's people in there. Everybody else, the cop is just standing there with his look. He's just standing there, like with his gun, just looking up.
Yeah, and
Heads
apparently
would
they're
have
saying
to
it's
roll.
yeah, and they're saying like it's unsafe for anyone to go into the building and rescue people. But I mean, you know, there comes to a point where you realize that there is a little bit more decisions are made and lives are lost because, you know, they don't simply care. And I felt like this was a story that, you know, is just another example of infrastructure that is crumbling, terrible landlords that, you know, put up these buildings, don't have any real standards and codes.
So this is
and
the
whatnot.
collapse. This is the initial collapse we're seeing here from the other side of the building, from what we were just
exactly
looking at. Wow.
Yep.
So how
and
many
5 people are
actually
still
died?
missing?
How many people have been confirmed to have been dead as a result of
They
this? 'Cause
haven't
it's-
confirmed anything
Any?
from what I'm seeing.
Really? Okay.
Well, right now they're saying 5 people are unaccounted for, right? After the back portion of the structure collapsed. And that was as of Sunday afternoon. And then they said 2 of those missing may still be in the building, right? And so as of yesterday, and then the demolition is actually scheduled for today. So everyone is rallying because they don't want this demolition to happen, for the fact that there are still people clearly in the building. As this woman was screaming for help, you know, they had already said, we're just going to move on. We're just going to demolish the building. And you could see a woman inside the building, you know, and so it just shows like the decision making, you know, and the, you know, the effort, the lack of effort when it comes down to, you know, rescuing people and whatnot. So I found this story to be really interesting, just considering the fact that, again, there's still people in the building as of today.
I'm curious as to what the official line is. You know what I mean? Because America is such a phony, hypocritical place. But anyway, anytime some shit happens, for example, like the major earthquake that happened in Turkey and Syria, like this country made a big show of sending our search and rescue units over there, you know, to go help and find the injured and those who may be buried under the rubble. And it's like, oh, so people in Iowa can't get that same treatment. We can't send the Fairfax County Rescue Search and Response Unit out there to Davenport to figure out what's going on. I mean, this sounds weird, like weirder than even American version of weird.
No, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I think this is crazy. I'm trying not to be over the top, but I'm like, wasn't there a plane in the World Trade Center and first responders were below digging through, trying to rescue people? You're telling me that they don't got a crane that can poke through windows, they can knock windows out, put people on floors that are safe to go looking for folks? They can't yell, hey, anybody in there, from close up on a crane from a safe distance? They can't send in dogs to sniff around.
Robots.
The story reported
robot dogs.
The story reported that dogs were used, drones were used, and infrared imaging was used, and no signs of life were apparent.
Except for the woman hanging out the window waving.
And they were still, and that was the last part that I didn't share on the screen, is them saying that them pointing to her saying that doesn't count.
Get out of here.
That was no, but they said that they used, they said, hey, and then it said that there was the owner apparently had a permit to work on the exterior wall, but hadn't, I guess, gotten to it yet. And then somebody was holding signs saying, rescue them first, find the bodies first, or find who's in the rubble first. So yeah. That's why I think the end of Succession was perfect. And I'm not going to say anything if you haven't watched the spoiler alert or whatever, but the end of the series Succession is absolutely perfect in depicting what we're dealing with.
It was hilarious. I'm missing that show already.
What network is that on?
HBO. Oh no, I'm sorry. Now it's just called Max.
Yes,
yeah.
Max.
Yeah. Basically, it's HBO, but I don't know why they call it Max.
HBO said get its pronoun right.
Exactly.
and yeah, no, it's a great series, and again, for depicting the lunatic whites that run the world, it's fantastic, and the ending is perfectly appropriate. And to the Vernon philosophy, the absence of blackness is beautiful. I mean, it's just perfect. Like there's
he has one mulatto-looking assistant, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, absence of blackness. There's no black people in this show.
No.
Just
one,
how spirits
one
in this-
season,
in
there
this
was a
life
lawyer
reality.
who played in like 3 episodes. Was that Gabriel Union or somebody else?
Was she? Oh no, Sanaa Lathan does
Lathan,
appear. She does appear briefly. You're right. But
that's
right.
it.
That's it. And to me, that's perfect because it's so. Unless you see someone opening a car door or putting a plate of food on the table, black people, brown people don't figure to these folks. Like they're like we. And the callousness with which they engage the world is it's just so beautifully displayed. It's like, and then the ending is, I mean, it's they really hit it out the park with that. I got to give them credit for that. So, but yeah, and then these stories are the real life end result of what you see depicted on the other end. Now I don't want to give this away because there's been some bad podcasts takes on this, but if you know how Succession is at least in part meant to represent the Murdoch family, then you know, without spoiling anything, that what would happen immediately after the conclusion that we saw would be at least one of the sons saying, I'm gonna go start me a record label. I'm gonna start me a hip hop record label, and I'm gonna call it Raucous. And then we're gonna gaffle some more rappers. We're gonna ruin Pharoah Monch's career. But that is, that would be the perfect next scene. He would just get himself together and say, you know what? Fuck my family.
Yeah.
Start a record label.
And in real life,
I'm gonna start a rappers. Get some rappers.
And for those who don't know, it's about some like whether or not they keep control of their multi-billion-dollar company, which is like a Fox News. The family's fighting for control. One person, well, some of the family loses, and in real life, but losing in real life just meant like they got billions of dollars more.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah. Losing wasn't like losing wasn't losing the way you may think about it.
So I got to ask y'all a question. You have to tell me what makes this series different than any other series focused on the elite whites, the wealthy whites. How does this differ from Dynasty? How does this differ from Beverly Hills 90210? How does this differ from
just
all the
quality writing,
iterations that I've
That's
seen?
it.
All the many iterations that I've seen of how the wealthy whites live, how the wealthy whites treat each other. Like what makes this any different or any special?
Quality of writing, maybe updating some of the references. It's not, I mean, it's I think it's technically a better series than something like Dynasty, but fundamentally it's not any different. I think
it is. No. I think the difference is that they don't hold those folks in reverence. Dynasty, Dallas had you looking up to these people and aspiring to be them even through their treachery. It was kind of like, I would want to be that. Secession is a way of saying these people are as stupid as just anybody else in the world, and they just happen to be in these positions because maybe there was one person who grinded and raised and got a lot of money, but it doesn't mean that like whatever intelligence in that particular area it took to establish this dynasty, that it's passed on so that everybody else has it. Everybody else is just maneuvering to get next to money. And they're not doing it in a way that makes that they're just seedy and all about their self-interest. And obviously there's a lot of, takes on showing the wealth and how huge it is. But at its core, it's also about exposing the simplicity of the people who have it in their self. And like Jared said earlier, their willingness to do things in a way to do things which are totally just about their own self-interest. And they do some Trumpy kind of thing where there's a Trump candidate that's about to win the election, and they do it in a way to show like, they already know beforehand that this is going to cause fascism, riots in the streets. And they're just like, what about the numbers though? How does this work into the calculus for more money and or the ratings and all that kind of stuff? How does this help us keep our brand going? So it's like that kind of thing, which I think is different somewhat from the soap opera way, which the Dallas and Dynasties operated or whatever.
And that's what I meant by the quality of the presentation. Yeah, but fundamentally, I guess come out makes a good point about the differences. Yeah, you're meant to see them as flawed, failed human beings. Billions, as I see people in the chat, I think does and then I still think Veep from the comedic end of it does the same thing very well. It's just like, look at this is. And in fact, I remember reading that Hillary Clinton staffers apparently off the record were saying that Veep was incredibly accurate, despite it being a comedy. So I was like, yeah, that's it. Anyway, yeah, Veep, I think Veep is hilarious. And I think, and it just, anyway. Anybody else? Anything that they want to get to? We can.
I sent you guys an email because since we were in Iowa, we might as well stay in Iowa because Iowa's apparently landed crazy. I didn't realize. I was unaware.
Here we
reporting. Go. So we got an article there. You can check that out. Let me check these notes here from More Perfect Union. They reported Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds has signed the infamous bill to expand child labor in the state. The legislation allows kids as young as 14 to work 6-hour shifts on school nights. Yes. And to work in dangerous jobs in demolition, on assembly lines, and operating power saws, and much more.
Serving alcohol too,
serving alcohol, yes. Now in a concession,
you're joking. That was a joke, right?
No, I think they can serve alcohol.
Yeah, it says it right here. 16 and 17. The Senate file F542 allows 16 and 17-year-olds to serve alcohol in restaurants with a parent's permission. And the law.
I thought y'all were being satire. I swear to you, I thought y'all were being.
No, and teens as young as 14 can work, as Kim was saying, up to 6 hours a day during the school year, and to work
that has
longer
to be a direct
into
response.
The evening.
That has to be a direct response to all the child labor allegations that they had in the state, with all the meat packing, and children working over, past a certain amount of time, and I'm sure all of that state, had a lot of that within it. And so this is how they respond. They just, accommodate.
It is literally accommodate capitalism. 1890s again. It is the 1890s again.
It's not the 1890s come out because in a concession, the bill will now allow kids, if they get injured on the job, to file workman's comp. Now, could kids in the 1870s file workman's comp?
Progress, right?
When they got injured at the cotton mill. Of course they couldn't. This is progress.
I'm all for it. My kids are too damn spoiled. They need to be out here getting, putting in some
serving alcohol. They need to be serving alcohol.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But just real quick, I just happened to be reading this the other day from the Frank Kitson book on low intensity operations, and he says when you're looking to suppress a potential enemy combatant population that you are oppressing, it says one function of the law is to have it be just another weapon in the government's arsenal, and in this case, it becomes little more than a propaganda cover for the disposal of unwanted members of the public. So when it's necessary, like you all just said, we want to put these kids to work. We're already getting caught doing it. We just adjust the law.
The U.S. Department of Labor is challenging this. Jared, I'm sending you a video pertaining to this.
All right.
So to this story here. But it says, let me give credit. More Perfect Union report on this. It says the U.S. Department of Labor says that the bill violates federal labor laws, which limits kids under 16 to 3 hours of work on school days. Oh, that's bullshit, because I know I was working way more than 3 hours during the school week.
When I was 15, we had to sign up. We had to get the parents' permission. You could at 15. I forgot what it was called, but you could with parents' permission be allowed to. And we worked. I mean, till whenever.
Right.
Midnight, 1 in the morning, whenever.
Right.
It was no problem. So anyway, but
closed
Now they
down
can
Chuck
file
E.
workman's
Cheese
comp.
a lot. Now they can file workman's comp. So this video, I believe it says,
Oh, boy.
More Perfect Union set their cameras. They uncovered the origins of Iowa's extreme child labor bill, which would allow kids as young as 14 to work in meat packing. There you go, Coco, and construction. So the bill began in the office of Governor Kim Reynolds and made its way through the joint. So we got a video
and
there.
was written by top corporate lobbyists led by the Restaurant Association. So
Ding 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 ding.
now it's an 8.5 minute video, but
Oh
so
shit! Well then, never mind. I mean, that's what. See, I'm glad your doctor's not here to yell at me about time codes. My bad.
I'll just scroll through it. let it sink in as the images scroll through your eyeballs. But yeah, anyway, we can More Perfect Union at least is the source if folks want to follow up and see the whole thing. But yeah, no, that's great. And we love it when laws are written by corporate, interests and lobbyists, and it assures the proper function of government, et cetera, so forth. So yeah, it's great.
Can we do this story about the high school graduation?
Is this an Erica story?
Yeah,
okay, hold on.
No, this is Erica. I got it. I can bring it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, this is this. So apparently at a high school graduation, Black students, there are cops on the scene as the kids are graduating in the graduation circle. So they're going to watch and listen.
Wow.
Bruh, they really got the cops at McKinley High graduation trying to stop them from dancing. The principal's like, if you dancing, you gotta go sit with your parents and go home. Baby, these kids that graduated, fuck all that.
The cop,
he put her hands on her?
Yes.
Oh, they're right. That's horrible. That's a horrible display.
Oh my God. It's fucking footloose up in here. It's footloose.
Get more cops. Get more police in there. This is outrageous.
He is maneuvering.
Outrageous. Why aren't there more police
Look at
in
those
there?
skills.
So the police are there to tell them to stop dancing. Look at this.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I mean, what is this? A charge? Is this disorderly like what the fuck?
Oh, and look at the second one. Did he pull out a flashlight or a taser? What is it?
Look, they're walking him out. He can't go back and sit because he's dancing.
Hey man, give him the double middle finger salute, baby. Go all out while you getting put out. Go all the way.
And then everybody starts dancing. That is so crazy.
Baby, that officer is really in his feelings. Now he arguing with the
Where
teacher.
is this? Where did this happen?
He arguing with the teacher. The officer. Like, it's really not that serious.
He's mad as hell. He just wasn't.
He's mad. He can't hit nobody.
Why can't I just shoot her?
Exactly. So I don't. There's a lot. Say it again.
What location?
It is today. I can't see. They said McKinley High, but I can't see. This is from a tweet. I can't find out where the school was or whatever like that. I'll try to do some other stuff. But
There's a lot of McKinley.
The story was provided for us, but just the whole idea that the police are policing the grad. It's like Footloose. It's like you can't dance at your graduation because they said the principal made it. Basically, it's the principal's fault. The principal called the police in to say that you can't dance after you get your diploma. You have to just go back and be a respectable Negro and dignified. No hair bonnets allowed, Kim. Go back to your seat and sit down. And they literally had cops grab people because of that shit. That's crazy. That is
But I'm certain when at the white graduations where they have like the beach balls and shit, because we know how the white kids love to do that at their graduation. I mean, again, white children don't get treated like this. White kids are allowed to be exuberant. White children are allowed to display joy and happiness and be silly and be kids. But black kids, nope, discipline. Got to keep them in line. Got to make sure they are always brought to heel. That is a
remember,
shameful
Kim,
display.
your boy Tucker Carlson said that white people don't fight like this. So,
and in this case, they didn't have to, right? Because the black principal got the black cops to basically control the black students from dancing after receiving their high school diploma.
There go your sovereignty, Coco. There go your nationhood, Coco.
Why is it that the black principal is always, not always, and I'm generalizing here, obviously, but again, I had an experience with a black principal that was really trying to push respectability on me at my high school, Jared.
oh, it's still happening. It's still happening, Miss
Jared,
Kim.
I told y'all this when the cops came to my house at 16 without my mother present, because I was at a basketball game heckling the opposing team because, you know, all my friends play basketball. Not me. Oh man, you should have seen 17-year-old me. 17-year-old me. Oh, come on now. Jared, you know what school I went to? You know they was not having that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, absent all the profanities, yes, I would say, yeah, look at them little short, you know, whatever. Just saying whatever. So the cop comes over, Howard County cop, and puts me out the basketball game. And I asked him, I said, why am I being removed? And he gets in my face, rah, 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 rah. And I started crying because he scared me. You know what I mean? So I subsequently wrote a letter to the police department complaining about this man's conduct. And then they sent a cop to my house to talk to me while my mother was not home. I was 16. And the cop said to me on my front porch that your principal, Mr. Blah, 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 a black principal, our first black principal, said that your behavior was deplorable. I didn't believe him. I said, Mr. So-and-so didn't say that. He said, yes, he did. And maybe he didn't say that. Maybe the cop was lying. But I remember thinking, I'm like, this is what it feels to be sold out. I felt like I was sold out by my black principal. I said, But the cop was probably lying, though.
At that same institution, the current black principal was saying recently to a group of students that included my children, who do not stand for the national anthem, that students who don't stand for the national anthem will be subject to some sort of, I told him to dismiss it because I was like, I wish he would. I dare him. I wish somebody would try to, but he said something to you like, you know, because at our school we don't disrespect, or we don't, you know, whatever. It was one of those, we don't misbehave like that at our school. And it was like okay, well, you know,
that's not misbehaving. That's a demonstration of your alleged constitutionally protected freedoms to sit, you know, for the anthem if you so choose. So, but good for you for teaching your kids that's real values. I don't know what the fuck they're teaching in these.
No further involvement on my part was necessary in that one. So he, you know, we avoided that, but whatever. But yeah, nah, man. Anyway, yeah, we have 300 plus people, and Ear Doctor does owe us another mix. He's not getting out of that. But it would be nice if the likes
corresponded.
Correspond. Thank you for that. Thank you. Coco, I got your link. Is that where we're going? Anybody? Is that where we're headed?
Let's do it.
Speaking of great black leadership, Coco is.
That's exactly why.
Here we go. So there's the headline. It's all set for you if you want to take us through it. Oh, nice. Mayor Adams. I was waiting for Coco. I thought
my mic is on mute. My bad.
Oh, okay.
So Mayor Adams, he's rallying against socialism and communism during his Memorial Day speech. And so I thought that, you know, this is pretty interesting because I think in this speech, he also talks about the anthem and the pledge, I guess, of allegiance to the United States. And so he was speaking about the fact that, you know, more kids need to be pledging allegiance. And he declared himself part of the 38%ers who argued more should be done to foster patriotism in younger generations of Americans, including encouraging daily recitations of the Pledge of Allegiance. I thought this was, it's fairly interesting. Again, this 2023 Red Scare that's going on, and obviously you see that there is an attack on the left, but more in generally, I think when you speak on socialist and communist and labeling anybody as socialist or communist, the implications of that. But
who's the 38%? Is that a new group? Was that the survey taken?
There was a poll. There was a poll.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
There was a poll. Unfortunately, this story is not comprehensive, but yeah, I guess that's what it is. There was a poll of 38% of Americans consider themselves extremely proud of their country, and so he's one of them.
And it's a record low. It's a record low.
Yeah,
so he's part of the 38%.
This is headed in the right direction. Okay.
Ooh, I got
drunk
on the USS Intrepid one time.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So did he? I mean, in all of his complaints and bemoaning about socialism and communism, did he mention fascism at all? Is he concerned about that, the rise in fascism in America, or that takes a backseat to the socialism and the communism? The fascists, we shouldn't be that concerned about.
That's a job for him.
No, his concern is with left-wing ideologies. That's what he's concerned with, not fascism. It's the left-wing ideologies.
Fascism.
Is there any?
He represents fascism.
Is there any vocals? I thought there was a little bit up there. Yeah,
vocals.
It just says it's a 5-minute listen if you want to play the. Because I have Speechify set up on here. That's what the problem is.
That's my bad. Yeah, I could play. I got excited. I was like, I wanted to hear some of this Hitlerish thrilling speech and shit like that. I don't think not in this. So, but we should. But it is important to remember though that I mean the Pledge of Allegiance. He's right to say that, because the only reason that the Pledge of Allegiance was made to include the phrase "In God We Trust," it was done specifically during the original McCarthy era Red Scare, or maybe predating that slightly. No, I think it was the McCarthy era, with the idea that if people are saying "In God We Trust," subconsciously they will be denouncing the godless atheist communism and will be attaching themselves because it's capitalism, democracy, and God. That's
so. In God We Trust is on the currency. What it's in the pledge is one nation under God.
Under God. That's the phrase I meant. That's the one I meant. That phrase, that line was added specifically as an anti-communist thing. So like to get kids from the early on subconsciously, because it's too obvious. If you say to a kid, "Don't be a communist," they might actually
like, what the hell is, let me check that out.
Let me actually. And so you just say, just believe in God, and then eventually they hear, even to this day, obviously one of the first lines people say when they start bashing communism is, "There's no God in it. Ain't no God.
There's no God in this. Where's the guy? Show it. Point it out. I need examples."
Freedom in shopping, Kim. That's God. Freedom in shopping.
There's just going to be more fighting in the streets soon. That's crazy. So we're back. So again, we're back to railing against communism and socialism by public officials doing their speeches for everyone to hear. Like this is where we're at right now.
What's the point?
Because but it also helps people be distracted from the fact that more workers want to go on strike, like UPS workers. So.
And they're communists for doing so, of course.
You're right. Well, I mean, these godless communists
who want more money,
who want labor rights, and they want to keep their kids out of factories and serving alcohol, because that's what we need more of. 16-year-old girls selling alcohol to drunk men at bars. That's a recipe.
That's where God is.
Under God. That's exactly.
Under God. Under God and God we trust. Kids selling me, bring me my drink.
That's what God is doing.
That's what God wanted us to do.
Bring me my drink and my packages. That's really what it is. So UPS and I did see, and I think it was also from a More Perfect Union video. Shout out to putting out some good work. And I hope this story tells it, because I forgot the number that the CEO is making, but she is a woman. It's a woman CEO, so that's progress. But she's making millions, and the workers are not.
This is from you. So UPS, because I think Amazon workers are supposed to walk out today too, if I'm not mistaken. So what's up with this UPS strike? So is this a thing? Is this happening?
it's on the horizon, and that's about all the detail that I have at the moment. That they are threatening to strike, that they are obviously just not being paid appropriately and having to work too much. And I was trying to see if this had any. Let's see, the Atlanta company, of course, it's Atlanta, UPS, returned about 8.6 billion to shareholders from dividends and stock buybacks. But that's just not, it's only 8.4 billion.
They need more. If they can squeeze them out the workers, then the shareholders will get even more. And that's what's important. And that's what's important.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, I haven't read this, and I don't have any more details, unfortunately, that I can quickly pull up. But I, hope that they do go on strike. There are also prominent labor organization campaigns at Apple, Starbucks, Trader Joe's, even strippers at a dance club in LA. Okay. Well, I don't know why it has to be. Why does that be phrased like that? Why can't even strippers? Why can't they just be workers looking to get,
because they're women, bitches are lesser. Duh, come on, Jared.
My fault. Well,
Jared.
It just said strippers, Kim. Technically, it could have been male strip. No, I'm just
they would have denoted that.
They would have denoted exactly. They would have denoted that.
The
male exotic dancers.
There you go. Right. These decent, God-fearing American male exotic dancers, as opposed to these godless stripping women. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, like I said, I don't have any more details, but I hope that they do go on strike. Actually, I hope many more do go on strike, and that they get at least a portion of what they deserve, because clearly it's not going to be everything.
And the unionization, I mean, at the very least, one uptick is that unionization efforts are happening all across the country.
Yeah,
they're taking on new significance, so that is something. At the very least, but obviously capital is fighting against it, pouring literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars into lobbying to make sure that workers cannot bargain for their rights and to continue to suppress those efforts and so forth. We never did this story, but I don't know if y'all want to remember well, this is not a great left story, but the Amazon union thing that happened. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
We did talk a little bit about it at some point, somewhere on here, but feel free to bring it. I don't remember all the details.
Fill us in. I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, well, as folks remember, sort of to great fanfare, maybe a year or two ago now, the Amazon plant, I think somewhere in New York, was
Staten Island, JFK 8.
That's thank you. Was unionized by a sort of a rogue union effort. I think Chris Smalls and some other folks who were the leadership, let's say, of that effort. And it was obviously met with a lot of sort of eyes on sort of this young upstart union and sort of streetwise young folks who were leading it up. But now apparently a couple of years later, there is now an insurgency, and some of it is the old politics of and I'm not choosing sides here, but the old politics of folks saying that, hey, folks have gotten famous and they're not taking care of organizing, and they were too worried about trying to get on TV or meet with personalities. And then the folks on the other side saying, hey, look, we need to do this in order to draw attention, to get resources. And so there's a lot of infighting. But very recently, the vice president of the union, his name is escaping me because he did not become as well known as Smalls, apparently was arrested and caught on videotape, literally choking his girlfriend or admitting that he choked his girlfriend. And at first, I think there was some of these allegations were pressing already. And at first, the response of the Smalls contingent, which this person was on that side, was kind of either to deny or to say that to not necessarily act. But once that video was exposed, where the person is sort of admitting, I believe, on camera that that within the incident there was the choking that happened, that person was fired, which is now only brought more limelight on to sort of dysfunctional. Again, from the outside looking in, what seems to be some very dysfunctional infighting And so the union, the upstarts, have not been able to unionize a second workplace, or at least not successfully. Not saying that's all their fault or whatever, but again, folks are within battling around what next, in terms of this sort of upstart union effort, now that it has all this controversy around it. And the one thing I will say about Smalls, I do not know this person personally at all, is that they, at the very least, I'm saying on the surface level again, because I don't know this person, do say things that are radical or support some left ideas in politics. I think they often say that they are helping to start a revolution. And so, of course, again, from their side of the picture, they think they're being targeted. But this was, that's right. And then there was also a fight between Chris Smalls and another person, I guess, on the opposite side within the union. They actually had a fight in the street, which I think was captured in videotape. So that's the gist of it, I think.
And this story has also got stuff about allegations about child support payments not being, so I don't know, obviously folks are imperfect in, and I don't know all the details. Sometimes it feels like, it's the predictable, they're coming after him for credibility issues that is Chris Smalls, and it's hard to say, I don't, but this story doesn't, like you said, it's not a good look for the left in this moment. And I don't remember.
Clear, it wasn't Chris Smalls. I just want to be clear, because someone said it's not Chris Smalls who's being accused of strangling. It is the vice president, his close friend, who helped start the union or organize within the union, whose name, again, I just don't remember. So
I was trying to see if it came up in here. Because at one point the argument was that Chris Smalls was defending this dude. That was the most that he was, as far as I remember being.
Which, is plenty, because, I don't understand this knee-jerk reaction to protect people who are abusers. Like, I really don't get it. Like, I don't fucking get it. I don't care if that's your boy. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your son. Like, if there is, and it doesn't even matter who the gender is, really, but if we're talking about a man putting his hands on a woman, choking her out, why is that person worthy of your protection? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ended up firing him anyway. So why did you even go to bat for him at all, or try to run any sort of interference or defense for them? I mean, it makes me not feel safe sometimes in spaces, because it's like, wow, so if somebody's hitting me and y'all know it, y'all just gonna let the shit, y'all just gonna let it ride, huh? you gonna take up for the person laying hands. That bothers me. Like, I mean, it really does. To no end. Like, it really, when you read that story or you described the story, Kamal, like, my stomach sank.
Yeah, because it's one of these stories where, again, a year or so ago, they were obviously particularly Smalls, but more than just Smalls, the whole effort. And again, his good friend played a huge role in that, to my understanding, as well as a whole bunch of people. And I think there's also accusations of obviously people getting rich, but I think Smalls and completely push back against that, and talking about their low salaries and lack of health care and all the rest of it. So there's a lot going on that, again, maybe they can turn the story around through some other process or whatever, but there just seems to be a lot going on, both with the idea of a union, an upstart union, and the internal mechanisms. And of course, the idea that when someone gets caught doing something crazy and nefarious and obviously criminal in nature, that the reaction, as you said, Kim, at first is to cover or to deny or to say it's none of my business. But then only after sort of a videotape is released to have no choice, right? Because now you're in a position of, like, it's you have no choice at this stage but to cut this person loose. But you
why
could have done other things before that.
Like, exactly,
no, that's
like,
yeah.
Why do you have to wait till you be exposed, till your hand is forced, that you have to admit whatever it was, transpired, occurred? This is your man, this is your friend, whatever. Like, I mean, that's rotten shit. Like it really is. I don't like it. I don't even want to say too much because it's gonna come out wrong. So that's fucked up. So anyway, how do we get community control of the abusers, everybody? How we do that? If we know that there are abusers in our spaces, what do we do about it? We do nothing. We wait. Do we get the police involved? Do we make a public
they
thing of it?
have no idea what they knew was going on or not. But once they did know, they could have done again. And even in terms of cutting the person loose, there's a whole bunch of other things they could have done too to probably help both parties, right? So getting that person in some sort of care situation where they're getting some psychological help, making sure that they stay away from each other, setting the other person up so that they can have some like whether or not they were dependent on his salary. For I have no idea what their living situation was, but making sure that that person could take care of themselves during this time period. There's a bunch of ways that organizations, institutions could react to this kind of stuff. That's not just hide, and then when it becomes public, then you do something which is the most drastic thing, of course, which is just to cut the person loose and to try to move on from it, to keep the institution going. If we're talking about care, we're talking about doing something alternative. There's a lot of different things to do that, again, maybe some people will say you should just cut that person loose, but that person just goes on like embittered, and none of those issues get resolved. And that may happen in their next relationship, or that may happen in terms of like, fighting in the street, whatever it is. But if in some way these institutions, again, and I don't know the level of resources that the union had, but I'm assuming it became so popular that it was a darling of the left, particularly in the union movement, for at least the last year and a half. Chris Smalls was meeting with the president and other people and all that kind of stuff. So this was definitely something that was lifted up as like, hey, this upstart union was able to do something that no big union was able to do, which was to help support workers in unionizing their plant. So there had to be some resources, and it's just really about where those resources could have been spent in this particular situation to help prevent what happened, or even to do something to make it so that both parties are getting some support, as opposed to trying to, again, do what just big companies do all the time. And I think unfortunately, those become the default mechanisms in a country which is all about protecting institutions or things that you start, or looking good in front of the public, as opposed to trying to do something to sort of really like rally around and solve some of these issues.
So I'm going to ask you guys to educate me a bit here, because I know you guys have studied organizations throughout history, 20th century beforehand, how these organizations in these movements address issues even within their own ranks. So like, who historically, or if ever, has like the protocols in place? So when there are abusers discovered within the organization, maybe even within leadership positions of the organization, what is done to minimize the harm for particularly the victim / survivor, first of all, but trying to make sure that this person hasn't been harmful to others in the community or in the organization? How do you address that person? Do you expel them? Do you counsel them? Do you confront them? Do you what? Can y'all tell me how this has been done?
Really quick, and then I'll let other folks jump in. I think organizations have taken different tacks throughout, so it's hard to say what's been the central way in which either grassroots organizations, and this union is not at this stage, it's probably not considered sort of a grassroots organization. But I think there's different ways that folks calculate in terms of trying to handle it. Everything from having tribunals, to having mediated conversations, to actually trying to get people into help, to suspending people from organizations until they come back and until they show that they've gotten support. So I think there's many different mechanisms and models out there, right? And some of those things have shown themselves to be successful. But a lot of the times when it's grassroots organizations, you talk about groups that don't have the resources that are needed to help support at writ large their membership, right? So membership who comes to the table with mental health issues, or issues of resource needs, obviously fights or disputes within membership. So you have these organizations that are coming together off of politics or beliefs that are now being asked to solve bigger societal issues, and they should put forth ideas and ways to do it. But I don't know if I think anybody has necessarily. I think there's groups that have tried and have done it, and then there might be some groups that people can mention. I don't want to mention any specific mediations that I've helped lead, but I do know organizations throughout the decades of work that have processes for this is what we do. And again, when you're dealing with people who are at points in their lives where in this case, I'm not even talking about something so overt as, hey, we know there's a clear-cut person who did harm to another person. But a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times also you have things that are not as clear-cut. And then you have organizations, people have to work through that because relationships go bad. And then people start saying that they can't work with other people. And those things take mediation in order to stop folks from either leaving or figuring out, like you said, whether or not these spaces are healthy for them, because people are going to deal with the things that come up around their lives. And again, the question becomes sometimes these organizations, put structures in place, but whether or not they can sort of uphold these structures, implement the plans and ideas, keep up with what's happening months later and all that kind of stuff, when most of the time people, at least in the past, have been volunteering at a lot of these efforts to do this work, is still something I think we have to study and work on and all the rest of it.
Coco, did you want to jump in? Do you have any?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult to really, we have to also understand context when it comes down to like how organizers are organizing, right? And what type of spaces people are in and the type of justice people are looking for, right? And I think we have to like really think about how we point fingers first rather than investigate and understand the situation and then find ways to get people together and have this conversation and confront the issues that are actually here, right? And I think that for me, when I'm looking at this article that was put up, and maybe I'm going off a little bit more, but it seems like as of lately, the first thing that the state, the opposition is going to do is to create these issues and put these issues out in the media, right? And so I feel like it's hard for me to even speak on this situation because the fact is that this labor union, people want it to fall, right? And so I feel like all of this, like I'm sorry, I'm just going off, but I feel like whatever happened as far as this vice president and the abuse allegations or any type of abuse allegations that happened, did they even have, I don't even know if they had a moment to resolve the issue or to think about the issue, right? And so that's my question is like, what is the process that we're actually using to resolve issues within organizations, right? And so we can't be as, I feel like we have to like reduce our carceral mentality of like pointing fingers and criminalizing people immediately or saying people did something wrong. And I'm not excusing this individual. I don't know what happened, but I think that as we approach situations like this, I think we have to be a little bit more revolutionary in our approach into understanding the situation. So I feel like just the quick 2 seconds that I was able to read some of the things, I feel like that process didn't happen, right? Because I feel like there was so much going on. And I think there's a lot of pointing fingers in this situation. I think there's a lot of animosity toward individuals in this situation. And so how do you really know what is actually happening within the labor union amongst the people that are representing the union when there's so much opposition and so much things that are being thrown at everyone in the labor union? Whose fault is what, right? And so I feel like this situation is a little bit more complex than, like how do you approach the situation? You have to think about the complexities also of like why even the story is out there, like who put the story out there and why the story is being put out there in the first place. And I would question things more before we come to a conclusion of like what actually happened. But I yield on that.
Fair. I think that that's fair, but I also know how many people suffer domestic violence in silence. And it never gets written about, it never gets reported. Nobody ever talks about it. People know it's whispered about, but it doesn't, it's not made public in the same way that I guess this scenario with this person from the Amazon labor union has been. So like the fact that it's out in the media, like I don't, that doesn't make me doubt it any less, because I just know how many people get beat up and nobody knows it, or nobody talks about it. It never gets reported. So this instance being reported, I actually don't look at it as a negative, to be honest, because I think these are things that people should know about. And I hope it does not undercut the work that the Amazon labor union has done and is continuing to do. But I hope that it puts a spotlight really on the broader need for protocols really to be in place for when, not if, but when these scenarios present themselves, because they will and they do, and they always have, so we shouldn't hope that, hopefully we're not inviting abusers to come build with us. We do need to try to identify people, but I agree not to call the police on them, not to get them locked up, but to get them help to make sure that they stop hurting other people, So I agree with the revolutionary tactic taken, but I think that, there needs to be a game plan in advance, for when these kinds of things happen, not a human resources department per se, but just
and not a PR game plan, right?
What happens if somebody is identified as being abusive to their partner, abusive to their children, being weird with little kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we do when these things happen? Because they will.
And that's the thing. I mean, really quickly, I'll add that I think it's a both and scenario, right? There are situations where obviously that there's going to be a side which is trying to destroy what's being built, but on the other side, you can't provide the type of actions or issues that allow them to capitalize on it, right? Mm-hmm. And so in this particular case, this person, again, we don't know what scenario led to whatever, but we do know that this person admitted that they wrapped their hands around their partner's neck and was strangling them. So again, whether or not, like you said, that person should be criminalized and or demonized for the purposes of bringing down a union, that is one issue to deal with. But again, the equally important issue to deal with is, the issue that I think that Kim brought up is how do these organizations deal with the fact that folks come to these places, all of us come to these places, we can say because of our sort of damaged upbringing within sort of this capitalist society and oppressive society. How do we deal with the issues that we discover and or see and manifest themselves through day to day? And sometimes they will, to be honest, sometimes it is after you've tried several mechanisms or means to basically cut that person off and be like, this, we just do not have the energy, time, resources to deal with this anymore. But hopefully that's after some process in which you've done what you can to either seek some support for them, to mediate conflicts, to support the person who may be in some more obvious cases, the victim, to do things in which you try to set up mechanisms to battle, to figure it out, right? I mean, I think, and again, it's not always going to work out. It doesn't mean it's not going to hurt the organization or what people think about the organization. But if we don't set up those mechanisms, those means, those ways in which we at least attempt to do it, then we are failing in and of itself. And I think, again, I'm relating this to grassroots organizing, which again, I think the Amazon union is sort of adjacent to, but not the same thing. But a lot of these organizations too that initially also began to be speaking about in terms of grassroots organizing or movement groups, part of it is that they usually don't have whether or not they have the will or not. The other part of it is the resources to even start to deal with, hey, can we afford to help somebody get psychological help or get a psychiatrist or speak to somebody or counseling? Can we even afford basic healthcare for people when they're in trouble and all that kind of stuff? A lot of these organizations, again, we have some that are high echelon that can afford it these days. But then we have others which are trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, I would only want to add that just quickly that I think Coco really spoke to the concerns I have, and in my limited experience, the struggle around process has been paramount. Mm-hmm. Outside of organizational space, the only anecdote that I really have to answer, Kim, one of your previous questions, is that in terms of what do we do outside of organizational spaces in the community, is that it's just another reminder of where we are and how powerless and disorganized we all are. Because in this one anecdotal experience where it was as it was relayed to me, it was clear that violence had been committed against this sister. My response was, with a couple of us, was to her, what do you want us to do? And it was basically any options on the table. And we were told to stand down. I mean, unequivocally, in all forms, to fully stand down. And it doesn't solve anything. But for a variety of reasons, many of them legitimate, she felt it just needed to be. Everybody just needed to fall back and walk away. But this dude is still out there, and so I don't know what to do is really what I'm saying. I don't know exactly what to do, and it's just it's yeah, anyway. So about 15 minutes left. Remix Morning Show, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you join, support the platform in any number of ways that you can. Yeah, all these answers are insufficient. Every time we try to, it's just a struggle to try to figure out what is best to be done. Anyway, anything else anybody want to get to, or anything more to be said about this particular issue? Responses? Anybody?
I have a couple of those stories that was put in our chat. So this one, speaking of incarceration or whatever, do I want to do, which one do I want? Now I'm torn. There's
a couple of, like, I was thinking earlier the same thing, like if we wanted to stay thematic with earlier reference to the police and all this other stuff, there's a couple of unfortunate, like we were talking earlier about what the police wish they could do at the graduation. There's a couple stories where they got to do what they wish they could do. Yeah. There is a lighter prison story, if we could put it that way.
I wanted to do the lighter prison story.
Should we lighten it up a little bit, puns intended, and do a light prison story in the morning? On a nice Wednesday morning, summer morning, summer now morning. Yeah. Not everybody. So, speaking of white people that need a hug.
So, Elizabeth Holmes reported to prison on Tuesday, capping off a stunning downfall for the disgraced founder of failed blood testing startup.
Theranos.
Thank you so much. You saw I was struggling. Theranos. Holmes was sentenced to more than 11 years in prison last November after she was convicted months earlier on multiple charges of defrauding investors while running the now defunct startup. Her request to remain free on bail while she fights to overturn the conviction was denied by an appellate court earlier this month. The judge who presided over the trial ordered Holmes to turn herself in to the Bureau of Prisons by May 30th to begin serving her sentence. Holmes arrived Tuesday to federal prison camp Byron in South Texas. I think a jacuzzi was awaiting her. A minimum security federal prison camp that is approximately a trip to Burger King that's approximately 100 miles from Houston, where she grew up. And it says we can confirm that she's arrived at federal prison. So the spokesperson here, you can see her. Is she handcuffed? I don't see her really being. Her arms look completely free.
I thought they were sending her to West Virginia, where Martha Stewart did her Fed time at Club Fed. Is this Club Fed in Texas?
This, I mean, I'm not sure if this is Club Fed, but it said minimum security. So I'm, all the people that she defrauded, I'm sure, are happy that she will be in minimum security prison. But it is 11 years, although I'm sure she won't serve the full. But it is 11 years. And it says her ex-boyfriend and former, say the name again?
Theranos,
COO, Ramsey Sunny, I'm not even going to try it, was also convicted of fraud and reported to prison in California last month to begin serving his sentence. I think he got a few more years than she did. She was once the icon of the tech world when she was wearing those Steve Jobs bad turtlenecks. And it says her Holmes dropped out of Stanford at age 19 to focus on Theranos, a startup that claimed to have invented technology that could accurately test for a range of conditions using just a few blood drops of blood. Theranos raised $945 million from an impressive list of investors and was valued at some $9 billion at its peak, making Holmes a paper billionaire. She graced magazine covers and engaged in public speaking events wearing, oh, that's right, they mentioned it, a black turtleneck that invited comparisons to the late Apple CEO, Steve Jobs. So there you go. Our favorite white woman billionaire fraud.
The reason you don't know how to pronounce the name is because you don't properly appreciate all the good programming that has been produced, all the documentaries, all the stories of the downfall. I mean, this is talk about delicious TV. I miss none of that stuff. I watched all of it. And old boy Sonny gets depicted bad in some of these joints, looking like an old man. Yeah, brown. Looking Southeast like an old Asian? Brown man. Yep, Southeast Asian, trying to get with a young blonde. He was happy to the age difference. He was like trying to. It was like some real. It was but yeah, she apparently changed her voice back too. She's speaking more like a normal, regular person now. She's given up the fake speaking and the hair and the.
Did this get more or less attention than the shoplifting rings when people were running in and out of Nordstrom or running in and out of Macy's, stealing? Like whites don't, and the mainstream media do not frame these stories, I think, accurate. I mean, this is scamming. This is elite level scamming. Like, I don't know what else to call this. This is in the downfall of a sea. No, this bitch was scamming from day. She was.
The documentaries got her. They got her. This story didn't do it justice. And the one dramatic series that they did with what's her name? That actress. What's her name? Whatever. One of them actresses. They got her. I mean, they make her look as bad as. I mean, it was like a Succession style series. I mean, she looked bad, and all the people that she conned. If anything, they got more of a washing. You know, like, oh, she tricked us. No, you want to be tricked because you're all happy to invest in anything that you think you can exploit. You know, and even when people even people's grandson, like what's his name, Schultz? What's his name? His grandson was like
George Schultz.
Yeah, his grandson tried to warn him. It was like, I'm working here, you know, grandpops. I'm trying to. You know, I'm seeing some things that don't look up and up. And the grandfather basically disowned him at one point, was like, stop telling me about my money. And he was like, stop trying to tell me I got suckered. He was like, I'm not trying to diss you, grandfather. I'm just trying to look. I'm not a sucker. You know, yeah. Like to me, they all look. That's why I love this stuff. And again, no black people. No black people. They don't even talk. It's like no black people going to get helped. No black people going to be dragged. No black people. It's just like no black people. And for me in commercial media, I'm happy with that. So it was just like all white downfall, all white treachery, all intra-white fighting, and rich white people hating on each other. It was. And that's why she's going to jail, by the way. That's the only reason these folks go to jails. Because if she had ripped off a bunch of poor people, she'd have been like, oh, you know, going home.
A fine.
Yeah. But
it was a Bitcoin scam. You know what I mean? Against black folks. It would have been a fine. It would have been fine. And she would have kept some of that money. Yeah. Exactly. $9 billion. It was worth $9 billion, which means that probably there was enough stock owned that generated enough on paper wealth. So that's real, that's serious money. And like you said, people like George Schultz, other billionaires were involved in investing. Yeah. So it was like all of that made it. There's like, oh no, there's got to be a punishment here. There's got to be a punishment here.
And then when everybody was like, the joint don't work, your little box don't work, they were like, oh, don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to that. Yeah. Anyway,
Paper
Anyway.
billionaire. What a phrase.
Right,
She was a
right.
billionaire on paper. What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
So just quickly, because I know we're about to get out of here, and Ear Doctor does owe us a mix. So thanks everybody for coming through. But speaking of paper millionaires, I guess somebody, or millionaire, not billionaire, but a paper millionaire got served some papers. Shaquille O'Neal did get served papers for the FTX lawsuit after trying to evade them for months, which I think is hilarious. After months of avoiding process servers are surprisingly elusive, Shaquille O'Neal has been served his process papers for the ongoing FTX lawsuit. It happened while he was covering the NBA playoff game between Miami Heat and Boston Celtics at the venue known as the FTX Center. That's perfect. So they're gonna let's see. He was and I think the official charge is something about the claims are now very serious.
This is civil suit, right? These aren't criminal charges.
No, it's right, but it's is it though? Is it? Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, if they're looking to serve him, it's a civil suit. Yeah,
civil suit through papers in this car, right? Because otherwise they just come and arrest you or drag you off.
That's correct.
Right. What am I thinking? Anyway, but something about him promoting FTX and getting people scammed or whatever. So
is this different? I'm sure. I mean, I know it's all similar sort of things, but who was it? It was Steph Curry, Kim Kardashian.
Yep.
And I know this could be for a variety of different cryptocurrencies. So I'm confused as to who else was
the
FTX.
Well, LeBron James.
Okay,
and of course Larry David. And there was even at one point a joke because his commercial was actually him making fun of the fact that it's a scam. It was like, so I said this before, and I feel like I probably deserve to be dragged for this, but I feel like I guess they deserve some punishment, but I feel like, look, these celebrities, they don't know what the hell they're doing either. Somebody's handing them a contract saying, read this script and get this check. It's not, I don't think, go ahead. That was it.
I was going to say, I know part of, I wanted responses because part of me is weirded out by that too. Is like, so these folks are paid spokespeople. They don't run the company. They're not like the CEOs or the majority shareholders. They're just paid. They're like voices for hire. It's weird to me that they are actually sought after in terms of civil suits. I mean, I guess it should be something where people should know the things that they represent. But if I, represent a McDonald's commercial and you get sick off a hamburger, does that mean you get to sue me, kind of thing? So I think
the better comparison would be if McDonald's was willfully poisoning or scamming somehow, because that's the connection. Is like somehow these spokespeople are supposed to have known that Bankman-Fried was hustling. Like to me, that's the only way they could be right. I mean, because you're right. I mean, otherwise, I don't know. The only thing I like about it is that it's a good way to remind people that you can't, like these folks don't know what they're talking about. So when you see Kendrick Lamar doing a Cash App commercial and, it's like, don't believe him. Like, don't follow his advice. Like if you see somebody telling you, you see somebody you think is attractive telling you to go invest in something, maybe not do it. I mean, think again, what brought you to the attention of this person? I know of LeBron because of basketball, not for financial advice or political activism or, so why would, if LeBron shows up and be like, this is what we need to do to build a new nation, I'm be like, I'm probably going to go watch it.
Can he sell you a nice shoe? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's like we can trust the athletes to sell us athletic apparel, but when it comes to, cryptocurrency to me still blows my mind that people even fell for this shit. I mean, is it done out here, Jared? Like, is it finished or is it still on? Is it at a low point? It's the perfect opportunity to buy low right now.
That's the current argument. That's what they're trying to tell you. That's what the crypto pushers are trying to say. Get in now because it's going to the moon. It's going to go to the moon.
Crypto is here to stay in some form. Bless you. In some form or another, crypto is here to stay. And you're right, like it's going to be another investment tool or something, but it's not going nowhere.
But it's a blatant scam, though. Like, I mean, and I'm an idiot, and I can tell it's a blatant scam. Okay, like, I mean, again, it doesn't make any sense. I'm supposed to give up actual currency to get monopoly money. Like, I mean, what? That didn't even make any sense. Can I pay this mortgage with this monopoly money?
One day, it will be worth everything. And Hill Harper told you they'll have to come through you.
Oh,
to get this currency you will now have control over. So that's what I'm saying. Like Hill Harper, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I might go watch. Well, actually, I don't even watch his movies, but I might go watch your movie. But anyway. Anything you all want to announce real quick before we get out of here? Anything big coming up?
I want to announce that I'm bitter that I did not make it to the Foo Fighters show last night at the damn new opening of the Atlantis, the new club next to the 930 Club.
Oh, wow.
Ticketmaster and Live Nation are the most giant of scammers. They did a lottery to get these Foo Fighters tickets last night. The venue only holds like 450 folks. 500,000 people submitted to the lottery, me being one of them. And I was very disappointed and furious that I did not get my chance to go see Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. They got a new drummer. Shout out to Foo Fighters' new drummer, Josh Freese. He's badass on them drums. But anyway, so that's all I see on the morning news. I did the show last night. I'm just in here bitter and grumpy. I didn't get a chance to go to the show, and I blame Live Nation and I blame Ticketmaster.
So this is how far so this is a new venue next to 930
next
Club?
to the 930 Club, but it is built to resemble the original 930 Club, right?
Oh, wow.
Now I don't even remember the original 930 Club because the one that currently is right there on 9th and V Streets that opened in 95, 96.
That's new, right? Yeah.
So I don't remember what the old 930 Club looks like, but this one is supposed to be built exactly like it, and it's a smaller venue. They have listed off a number of opening shows, a bunch of people I didn't care about, but the Foo Fighters, Gary Clark Jr. is on that opening roster. I think that show was already sold out. Oh my God. Anyway, I don't like that Ticketmaster and Live Nation have co-opted or 930 Club, IMP Productions, which does 930 Club, the Anthem, and Merriweather Post Pavilion. That these people have been. I don't know. I can't say they've been co-opted because I feel like they willingly sold out to Ticketmaster and Live Nation. You understand? Because there was a point in time, say if there was a show at the 930 Club, I would go out to Merriweather to the box office to try to go buy tickets, like stand in line and go buy tickets if I couldn't go all the way to DC. But now that it's part of the Live Nation Ticketmaster behemoth, all the fuckery, all the nonsense is going along with it, and I don't appreciate it. As a fan, as a DC live music fan, I don't like it.
Well, here's something that you will like. So, you know what I'm saying? National Black Radical Organizing Conference coming up this June 23rd to the 25th here in Atlanta, Georgia. From last checking, we have over 150 signups. Our goal at the conference is to have approximately 150 people come. We're going to close out registration once we reach upwards of 250, because we know people who sign up don't always show up. But this will be an extremely fantastic conference for folks to come to. My man Khalib is bigging it up in the background. We got to make sure that we come out. This is going to be having folks. It's going to be intergenerational folks from the Panther Party, from STIC, to the younger generation of organizers who are hitting the street, to the in-between ages like myself. Brother Jared Ball will be there presenting.
That's all you had to say.
That's all. You know what I mean? Y'all need to buy. Y'all need to get up on
left it at that.
Y'all need to get up on these tickets now and stuff like that. So you guys will be thrilled. You'll be having time to network, having time for political discussion, having time to organize with fellow organizers, all within the Black radical tradition. So please go to communitymovementbuilders.org. And that's where you will find a link to register. Because we've had some problems with our link, you might even, it's only a $25 conference fee, but because we couldn't even figure out how to do that right, you might even get in for free. You know what I'm saying? So
not at all. We're charging at the door.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like
Coco said, I got
we already have plans for that. Okay.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
I'm in the meetings every week. Okay. I don't tell people that.
Oh, my bad. It just feels like, you show up, you probably gonna get in. So
that's the shirt she's gonna have on.
Come out live to you. So we really want folks to come to attend, to be a part of. We'll work out everything around the fees, of course, like that, because obviously what's most important to us is to have the participation and to begin sort of as we always love to do, but to again organize with our people, figure out national strategies, again network with each other. And so come out June 23rd to 25th. Go to communitymovementbuilders.org and you will find that registration link for you to register. Right?
I would love to attend, and I'm not going to be able to. But Burn It Down.
Why? Why can't you come? Why can't you come?
Well, because I'm disabled and I need accommodation. So the channel. Let me not say the channel. Burn It Down with Kim Brown. We are going to buy 4 tickets that will specifically, hopefully, be designated for disabled attendees who want to come. We will do that as a channel. Because I want to know, y'all, what's the accessibility? You know what I'm saying? I can't make it, but I know a lot of reasons that sometimes disabled people don't come to these things because they don't know what the accessibility plan is. So just think about it.
We do. I think the space is obviously it's a modern space. And so I think it is very accessible, but I will talk more about that soon and get more details. But yes, please, I thank you for buying and purchasing for folks. That is beautiful. Or maybe I'll come down to DC and roll you up, but
And for the record, yes, we are considering accessibility for the venue and the entire event. So we are considering all angles, whatever. We have regular conversations on that. So I just want everyone to know that we are considering many various factors, including COVID, gender neutral bathrooms. We're considering all aspects of this conference to make sure that everyone is able to come. And we also ask a question on the registration form if you have any specific needs, so that we can also consider everyone's needs.
Thank you so much for that, Coco. What's the Cash App for Community Movement Builders, Kamal or Coco, if you guys know?
If you want, you could register. And obviously you don't have to show up if you do register. But if Kim, you register, we'll know that you put that effort toward. Okay. And then we can, obviously work things out and stuff like that. So just
there's a payment plan that's linked on the form.
Ooh, Afterpay.
But if you want to just give us a donation, you can go to communitymovementbuilders.org. We do have Cash App, CMB.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was going to make the donation and like denote that that's what it's for. So however you guys would prefer that gets accomplished, I'm definitely willing to do that. So,
yay.
Just real quick, everybody, come back at 12 o'clock if you can for my interview with Dr. Ashley Farmer about Queen Mother Moore. And am I seeing this correctly? I think the e version of the second edition of the Buying Power book is now available. Ooh. I think I'm seeing that correctly. So but anyway, stay tuned for that. Yeah, but I think that's what it's saying here. Anyway, it's coming. But anyway, all right, good people, remixers. Thank you very much for coming through. Ear Doctor owes you a mix. So we will see you tomorrow, right back here, same time, same channel, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for more remix right here at Black Power Media. Like Fred Hampton used to say to you, say peace if you're willing to fight for it. See you tomorrow, everybody. Peace.